Hey little sis, and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Naila, big sister here, and I've made a build specifically for you. Inspired by the expansion pack Cats and Dogs, we are creating a vet clinic today for you to put in your Brittleton Bay world or wherever you want to put your vet clinic. I hope you enjoy this video. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and like. That is my motivation to keep on posting videos for you. I'm so excited that you're joining me. Let's hop into the build. Hey sister. So ever since the Cat and Dogs expansion pack came out, I feel like you've been asking for it. So I am doing a vet clinic for you. I wanted to do something that was like coastal to really blend in with the environment of Brittleton Bay. But to be honest, this vet clinic is so versatile, you can put it anywhere. So my envision was to have kind of like a lighthouse in the middle of the clinic, since we're so close to the water that's around, and then the clinic actually be surrounding the lighthouse. My inspiration, to be honest, was the building that's kind of like right next to it that looks a little bit like a church. I was like, oh, this looks exactly like what I would want my lighthouse to look like, the fact that it's like super high. So yeah, I'm going in and starting with the fencing in the back. This chain is from a live edit, specifically from the Cats and Dogs pack, but you can use any other regular old fence for the back, but this will show up if you download it into your game. And I just love this chain fence. It just feels so like natural to the world that's around. Along with this fencing, which is also from Cats and Dogs, which is our primary focus, I really wanted this build to be primarily Cats and Dogs because I know not a ton of people have all the packs. Like, so this one only has Cottage Living, City Living, Cats and Dogs, obviously, My First Pets, which My First Pets is free, Growing Together, and Seasons. And it's not a ton. This build is primarily Basegame and Cats and Dogs. And in order for you to have a vet clinic in your game, you need to have Cats and Dogs. You can make one that's not, that is totally Basegame, but it wouldn't be considered a vet clinic. It wouldn't be functional if you don't have the pack. So we're just topping off our lighthouse here. Went ahead, you guys, I hate circular buildings and rooms. They are the worst. I hate them so much, but I think I'm starting to get the hang of it, and it wasn't too bad. I wanted it also to give a little bit of a house. Like, I didn't want it to be a modern sort of clinic. I wanted it to be semi like your neighborhood clinic a bit. It's big because it's a huge part of the pack, and we want you to have fun with it and be able to like do a bunch of things in it. But for the most part, for a big lot like this, it is pretty homey, and that was the goal of that. So I'm really proud of that. I'm going in with this wallpaper or this sliding. It's from Cats and Dogs, and I think Cats and Dogs probably has the best sliding in all of the packs. Like, I just love this coastal sliding. I was thinking about doing the stones for these rooms. So these boxes, these rooms, I'm thinking are going to be for the hospital rooms or the clinic rooms, and then the rectangles that they're kind of attached to are like the hallways and then the two in the front, I'm thinking like waiting rooms. I didn't really like this stone, so I switched it. Yeah, that looks way better. So yeah, like the fencing is also Cats and Dogs. Everything so far that you're seeing is Cats and Dogs. The roofing is Basegame. It's either Cats and Dogs or Basegame, but everything you see right now is Basegame and Cats and Dogs. So even if you wanted to download the game and do your own thing and customize it however you want to, you could. As just the shell, you could just download it into your game unfurnished. It would look just like this. Nothing about this is anything but cats and dogs in Basegame so far, including the glass roofing and the shells around the roofs, all Basegame. So far so good. I'm really loving the way that it's turning out. I want to go in and put some trim on the walls. I decided to make the lower level the third tallest because I really wanted to do a lot with the landscaping and with the trim and really give a big entrance to the clinic. I didn't want it to feel like a hospital, but at the same time I did want it to feel like a hospital, but like a really comforting one because it's for pets. So a trick that I've learned is dirt around your lot. Just dirt. Play with the paint tool because it just makes it look like you didn't just like plop it down onto your lot. And I feel like I say this all the time, and I'm getting into a better habit of saving my game as I go, because so very often will I be in the middle of building something and my game will crash, and literally I will want to give up and not play the game anymore because it keeps crashing. So I'm going in with our landscaping, and if you see me like talking a bunch in the upper right hand corner, it's because I was on Twitch streaming this live and talking to the folks, and I was telling them how I hate that trees and plants clip into the building, like they show in the building if you put them too close. I don't like that. I wish Sims 4 would just like not do that, like make walls impenetrable. So I went ahead and skipped because it's just me putting a bunch of like different plants. It's really tedious, it's really long, so we're just gonna skip that. I'm going on and putting in the windows and the doors now, so that we can start on our interior. You guys, landscaping does wonders for your build. You saw the way that it looked before, now look at it now. It looks like a fully functional, like it's furnished inside, and it's not. Put plants on your builds. So this is going to be our entrance. I really wanted to drag the fence all the way out into the street, but unfortunately it didn't let me do that. And I'm going in with some what are those, spandrels around the build to kind of give it that like public. At this point I was like, oh, it's giving retirement home a little bit. How can I make this like more vet? So we're definitely going in with more of the vet stickers. Cats and Dogs has like a bunch of different like wall stickers of different things, like dogs, like cats, like fish, like bowls. And so I really wanted to play around with that, and you're gonna see that later. So now we're working on the back. I don't like to do the interior until the exterior is done because I want to finalize the exterior. So it's like, no, we're done with the exterior. We're not doing that anymore. So once we're done with the exterior, we're done. I don't remember the last time that I actually went to the vet. I haven't been to a vet clinic in so long, and the vet clinics that I have been to in the past have been so ghetto and in the hood. I've never been to a vet clinic this nice that I'm building right here, but I'm imagining if I would have a vet clinic, this is what I would envision the vet clinic to look like. Like, where would my sister take her cat? She has a cat, and she has a few cats, but the one that she's had the longest is Bean. And so I'm like, what type of vet clinic would Manaya, my little sister, take Bean to, right? She wouldn't take her to some hole in the wall shop in Baltimore City. She would take her to Brittleton Bay's beautiful clinic. So these are the stickers I was talking about. Well, these particularly aren't stickers. Those are lights, but these are stickers. And I was thinking, what if we had a dog side and a cat side of the clinic? And kind of when I was originally placing the lot down, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do here. I don't know why I'm building two sides. But then I was like, wait, it makes so much sense. What about a dog side and a cat side? So we're going to do that. The right is going to be the dog side and the left is going to be the cat side. So I am going in and starting to figure out what wallpaper we're going to do. Cats and dogs has really good wallpaper. They have really good wallpaper. They did a really good job with the versatility of this pack. They had a good amount of wallpaper for both residential and for vet clinic. I didn't particularly like this one for vet clinic, but for residential, totally. So this is me separating that side from cats and dogs being one side and one on the other. You guys, I don't know why it's so difficult to work with secular rooms. Yes, it is difficult to work with the secular world, but I don't know why it's so difficult to work with circular rooms. It's just like, why does Sims make it so hard to have circle rooms in your build? It disgusts me. So far so good. Still, currently, we're still base gaming cats and dogs. There's still nothing about this build other than cats and dogs and base game. So far so good. We're gonna go in. I really liked this wood. This wood is honestly overused in a lot of my builds. I use this white wood so freaking much to brighten up my builds because it's so clean. It's so nice. Like, it's not that dark wood that makes your entire room look dark. I really wanted this to be a bright build. You know, it's pets. We wanted it to be bright. So I've gone in and picked the wallpaper for our different sections. The dog side is going to be blue and the cat side is going to be yellow and pink. Dog side is green and blue. The cats and dogs color swatches for a lot of things are so bright. They are neon bright. And as I was on Twitch, I was like, let's put a rug down. And then one of my friends had commented and said, don't put a rug down in a vet clinic. I just imagine cats just tearing it up. And I was like, you know what? That is so smart. The cats would absolutely just be tearing up the carpet. It wouldn't make any sense to put a big carpet in the middle of the lobby. I did put down these mats. I'm not sure if I kept them or not, but I put down these mats because I wanted it to show this is the cat side and this is the dog side. This desk in particular is from Let's Get to Work. So this is the first item that is from a different pack along with that calendar. I really wanted this lobby to be inviting. I wanted it to kind of show where owners were supposed to take their pets, and that really translated in this lobby, I believe. Also, the half wall that I have that you can see behind me is going to end up being that exit towards, well, not the actual half wall, but that room is going to be the exit towards the back where our training center is going to be, and we're going to see that a little bit later. But I'm going in and starting with the cat side waiting room. When I think of waiting rooms, I always think about when I was a kid and I went to Kaiser, and there was always like a kids section and it had a TV and like a bunch of toys and things like that, and they always had like a wall sticker of like some sort of like kitty things. And so I was like, well, what if we did that with this vet clinic, and we put in a wall sticker that really showed like animals are welcome here. So that's what I'm doing here, playing around with all of the pet stuff like cat scratchers and like cat trees and little balls and bits and bobs like that. I was so tempted to put a carpet in here, you guys. I put a rug and everything, but I was so tempted to put a carpet in here, but I did not, because I remembered when my friend said cats would just tear it up. And I really want to embrace the realism in the game. And if it doesn't make sense to put a carpet in an actual vet clinic, in real life, then it doesn't make sense to do that in the Sims game. I'm sorry, I love realistic gameplay. I am not one of those who just cheat everything. I start my Sims off at 0, I work them up. It is what it is. So I was really trying to figure out what to do with all this open space. I was like, do I really need all of this for seating arrangements? And you're going to see later. So I was like, you know what? Yes, because in Cats and Dogs, when your lot ends up being 5 stars, and especially if this is a pack that you are playing with more often and you have like a lot of townies and Sims in your world who have pets, then yes, this vet clinic is going to be pretty full most of the time. There is also a vet rush perk that you can put onto the lot when you work up the levels. So I had this great epiphany as I was building this. I said, it would be really cool if they had a way of going, like a little trail. And then I saw this and I was like, oh, no, this is perfect. Kind of like when you go to a museum and they have like the dinosaur tracks that lead to the dinosaur exhibit. I was like, oh my freaking goodness, what the heck, Naila, you are genius. Sometimes I have to give myself credit. I don't know if that sounds narcissistic or what, but what the heck. So the waiting room is pretty much done. I'm just going in and putting items. You guys, still, most of this room is Basegame and Cats and Dogs. There is not a ton in here. The only thing that is not Basegame in this entire room is that bulletin board. And there are so many Basegame bulletin boards. If you wanted to use that, you could, but I just put that city living one in there because it changes. And I thought that would be pretty cool. But that is the only thing in this entire room that is Basegame. That is not Basegame. Other than, also that side table is not Basegame. The one that's by the chairs in the other corner. But these curtains are from Cats and Dogs. And I think they have really awesome curtains in Cats and Dogs. They're a little busy. But if you're doing like a kid's room, if you're doing a vet clinic, like I'm doing, it just makes sense. They weren't tall enough for the larger windows on the side, but they were big enough for the smaller ones that are on here. So I'm adding a few cat scratches and wall decor on the trim of the room because this is the cat waiting room. So of course I imagine them scratching up the walls and the seats and etc. And this litter box is one of those, the swatches, man. Like the Cat and Dog swatches are just so overstimulating and so bright. And like, I get it, but like, gee whiz. Yeah, so just toning down a little bit of the colors because when I think clinic, I think they don't want to put a bunch of overstimulating colors in it. And I felt like my waiting room was already busy. I tend to clutter up a lot of my builds, you guys. I will use every single thing I possibly can in that build catalog for that pack in my builds several times. I am not ashamed to say that. I'm also adding some dirt around the litter boxes. I also added them around the toys, but I just could not do it, you guys. I was just like, that is so dirty. Like, I do not want dirt by the toys. It's just bad. So this hand sanitizer here against the wall, I'm just working on one of the rooms now. This is going to be the surgery room, or one of them, and there are a bunch. I'm not going to show you guys how I did every single one because they are all pretty much the exact same. But this is one of the surgery rooms, and we're doing the same thing on the other side. They're all the same, guys. They're all the same. Nothing particularly interesting or different about single ones, other than maybe I'll change the mat from dog to cat or cat to dog, but it is exactly the same. Every single room is exactly the same. And I don't want to bore you guys and show that to you because it's like, why is this 50 45, 1,000 minutes long, and she's just showing us the exact same thing. The only thing pretty interesting are the waiting rooms. That's the only thing that really, which is kind of ironic, because why would the waiting rooms be the most interesting part? But yeah, so I am just going in with those decor items for the walls. I am sorry, I do not like blank walls. Also, why is this motivational cat so dang sad, guys? And I'm thinking for the surgery room, it's kind of like a bit like an emergency, so that's why I had like a lot of neon on there, just to show how urgent that care is. No pun intended. A lot of the stuff that were in these packs, or in this pack, again, still cats and dogs going around, still Basegame going around. The only thing so far that is not Basegame is that desk, is the bulletin board in the waiting room, and is this, I've used a couple things from Get to Work, like those signages. I will say Get to Work and Cats and Dogs are probably the most prominent packs in this build. So yeah, we're going in and working on the waiting room for the dog side, and I thought this was going to look exactly the same, but it doesn't. It's a little different. Sims 4, if you are hearing me, please put individual magazines or Basegame. I was like, I wish I could just put a magazine on the table, but I found these, I found this magazine holder, and I was like, you know what, this will do. I think they can get the idea. This bookcase that I just put on the table is from the Love Struck expansion pack. I did take it out and replaced it with a Basegame version on the gallery, so you do not have to worry about having the Love Struck expansion pack to see that. I have replaced that, so do not worry about it. I tried to keep this game as close to Basegame as I possibly could. Like I said, there is nothing, if you were to download in this 2-year build and you only had cats and dogs in Basegame, you would be okay. It would be fully functional. You wouldn't be missing walls. You wouldn't be missing a bunch of decor. You would have entirely fun. You might just be missing a few paintings, or a painting here and there, or maybe like literally like I said, like a book. Like you might be missing nothing that would be a astronomical change to the game. You probably wouldn't notice you were missing anything. So this is pretty Basegame safe if you wanted to do that. A few of the signages that I have are from Get to Work. I really wanted it to have that public feel, even though it has a bit of a residential look. I wanted it to feel public. And I'm not a big community lot space girly. I love residential builds more so. But I really did enjoy building this lot, I will say. I mean, I really liked it. It will show up in the gallery as as modded, but there is no CC in this build. There is no CC in this build. Like I said, there is nothing in this build that would not be available in your own build by catalog, unless it is from a specific pack. So I just, like I said, all of the rooms look the same. So I just copied and pasted the hallway and the rooms from the cat side onto the dog side, and I'm just going around and switching items, like the signs that have a cat, then I'll switch it to a dog sign or something like that. And these little decor items are from seasons. I wanted it to be like pet owners like bring their vets like different things throughout the seasons, and the vets just kind of like keep them in the rooms because they have a great rapport with their pet owners. I have a little training center right here in the back, and I saw this fire hydrant from the live edit menu, and I was like, you know what, this would go so well on the lot because when I think of dogs, like, in dog parks, I always imagine there's a fire hydrant. So guys, it's a day later and I'm playing with the game at this point and I totally forget to build bathrooms. And I was like, what is wrong with me? So I had to go back the next day and build bathrooms. And of course, I don't just build bathrooms, right? I have to design an entire floor. So the second floor, I wasn't going to do anything with. I was just going to keep it for height. But I was like, you know what? We have to make a functional bathroom. So we are going to make a functional second floor. And I was thinking maybe this is the intensive care unit and also a space where vets can come take a break. So I'm thinking bathrooms and a break room. And because with the Cats and Dogs expansion pack, when your sim owns a vet, typically I will play in that lot even when it's closed. Like I'll have my sim just kind of there when it's closed and just go to sleep there, eat there, shower there, all the things. And my sim that owns this lot, I have 2 sims that own this lot. They're a married couple with 3 kids. So they do have to go home at the end of the night. But they also have 2 pets and I just bring the pets with me. And sometimes the pets get dirty and grungy. And so I was like, in the bathroom, I need to put a tub and a shower. So when they get grungy, I can just like wash them, And I'm also thinking like a vet clinic, like if it's a groomer or something like that, then they would have like tubs and showers. So that is why I was like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and commit, because I could have just walled off everything. But I said, no, let's commit to the bid and just do this. There's a ton of light in here because the roof is partially glassed out. And if you are playing with this in your game, then you can look up to the ceiling and see it's totally glassed out. And I thought that was just a way for pets to feel like they were still outside even though they're inside, and give them a little bit of comfort in that they're not prisoners. So we're creating a kind of an intensive care. I'm thinking this room to the left is a surgery room, and maybe families are waiting outside of the pet clinic surgery room for their pet to be done. Maybe they don't know if their pet is going to make it, and so they're just kind of like waiting outside, Grey's Anatomy style. This is super cool for gameplay. Honestly, if you wanted to turn this into a hospital gameplay, you totally could. You could replace the vet care items with get to work beds and things like that, and it would operate exactly the same. So yeah, I am going in with the bathrooms now. Guys, bathrooms are so boring to watch. These doors are from Get to Work. They belong in a science lab, but I was thinking normally clinics, hospitals, etc. have secure doors. So why don't we put those secure doors in our vet clinic, right? Especially over our residential doors or rooms. So yeah, I'm just going in with the sinks and the toilets and stuff, yada yada yada, bathroom stuff. But if you're new to building, then you may want to take a look at this. This mirror here is from, I want to say, Parenthood. But my sister does not have Parenthood, so I end up switching this to a Basegame mirror. This wallpaper is from Growing Together, so that is one of the few wallpapers that you will have to replace if you don't have Growing Together and you download this lot into your build. It's not a big space, it's not the entire build, so I think it's feasible, it's doable to do that. But if that doesn't float your boat, replace it with the base game. It's not that hard. It's a bathroom, you'll be okay. But everything else in that bathroom is base game. Also, these wall menus, dude, they're from Growing Together. They are like, I abuse using those. That was kind of redundant, but I abuse those wall menus so much in my community lots. They're so practical, because when I think in a hospital, I'm always thinking like where to go, and there's always like a wall menu. Also, these are real Sims. These are the Sims that own this lot. The ones with the lab coats on, those are the married couple that I was talking about, Delilah and Corey. And then we have 2 townies as the vets. You might recognize one, which is Malcolm Landgrab. His family is the one that owns the Landgrab Company. You see them right there. Landgrab Company, and they're the ones who are responsible for keeping for charging the utilities in the Sims games. So yeah, you guys, copy and paste is a lifesaver. I love copy and paste. I will copy and paste the heck out of a bathroom or out of a room because it is just so convenient. It's like, why not? So the next part we're going to work on is the lab. And in Cats and Dogs, you get to create serums and things to help calm pets down when you're taking care of them or you're trying to operate. And then there's also vet treats that do all sort of goofy things, like there's a poop randomizer, there's a swamp one that makes your pet stink. There's of course age up and age down treats. There's ambrosia treats that can resurrect your pet if they die. So a really awesome way to kind of make some extra cash as a veterinarian is loading up the vending machines in our waiting room with the treats and medicine that you make here at the lab. And that is behind that secure door that you all saw earlier, because we don't want just anybody to access this environment. We want only our certified lab vets to access this area. And when I think of lab, I'm always thinking there might be an accident or something that happens. So I want to make sure that we take care of that and take extra precautions to put some safety measures like the water hose and a fire extinguisher and such like that. And I wanted it to be kind of dark in here anyway, kind of give that like that evil laboratory vibe. So I'm going in and putting some spandrels in, not really too much there. This is a utility closet because when I imagine like a hospital, like Grey's Anatomy, and how they come in and they have a locker and sometimes they sleep there because they're there overnight. And so I'm thinking if there's a vet that's kind of on call, then they can just go into the utility room, change into their vet office, our vet clinic outfit, and be on call. The break room is done pretty basic stuff, just kitchen stuff there. We're gonna start working on our first vet room, which I didn't even actually show you guys how I made the vet rooms, so I'm glad that we're doing this. I did use a different wallpaper upstairs. It's Basegame, so you'll be okay. And this one, we use the same cabinets and such as downstairs, so exactly the same thing. Only difference is the wallpaper. And I'm just loading up the counter with just some sanitary supplies and vet supplies. I'm thinking like when I go to the doctor, there are phones inside of the room where just in case there's an emergency and you have to ring a lab vet or bring in someone higher, then you can do that. So yeah, and I love these files, guys. I love these files. They're from Get to Work. Oh my goodness. And those are the decorations from seasons, and there's so many different sorts of seasons, but like I said, I imagine owners like giving their vet certain cards for the holidays and such like that, because they have a great rapport with their clients. So the vet supplies is pretty spilled out, but I like to put all the small stuff in first, and then I like to put our biggest item in the room inside, and that would be our vet table. Very different from our surgery station that we saw earlier in the other room, which we're also going to put. I do not like how dark some of the lights are. It just gives me like criminal interrogation room vibes. So now we're going in with our last room before we set up outside, and that is our surgery room, our emergency intensive care surgery room. Same cabinets, same counters. And I think when I think of the vet office or a surgery room, I think that everything is kind of bland and white. I don't do well with white. I don't do well with not cluttering things, but I wanted to make it seem realistic that this was not a space that's super cluttered, because you go someplace and it's super cluttered. It's like, why would I take my dog there? Also, I was running out of money, so I had to transfer some money from my Sims account to their business. And yes, we started at 0. Okay, we started at 0. We did not cheat. And my Sim has about $400,000. Obviously now she has $300,000, and she just put $100,000 to start this vet clinic. I will say this Sim build, if I'm not mistaken, probably cost around $130,000. That's what I think, but I could be wrong. Go check it out on my Sim gallery. Look at the information is in the description box here on YouTube. I'm just going in and lighting everything up, making sure that we have all of our builds and rooms are lit. Yep, I want to make sure that they're litty before we end this video. So I think we are all set and good to go. I think I'm going to end the video here. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye.